I think it's from our genes because our founders, primarily we are from Baidu and Google, who's previously has been through like the difference of these two companies. Basically, they are the one is best in US, the one is best in China. So we know the pros and cons and what they did before, and probably if they want to scale up into like tens of thousands of vehicles in the future, what are the things they are missing, and what are the things we can do better? Do we have a chance to actually catch up in a technology roadmap? So that's basically we're seeing some of the things that they didn't foresee that clearly. For example, for Baidu, they use this system called ROS, Robotic Open System. It's actually open source system, especially built for robotics. When we start our autonomous driving startup, we are thinking that this system are not really ideal for autonomous driving, because that system is kind of a serial. In the robotics, it's basically a robotic arm. You have several dots connected in a serial way, but autonomous driving is actually a centralized system. So we rebuilt the system and we rewrote the system, and we are adding some of the elements that we think it's potentially to be so we don't really have any bottlenecks when we scale up into like tens of thousands of vehicles, which we are targeting around 200 vehicles next year in Nansha for operation. Yeah.
You also mentioned Google. Yeah. Where are some mistakes that you think Google has made that you're trying to improve upon?
Yeah, Google definitely still the world's number one in autonomous driving, because I think Google starts in 2005. Well, that's pretty early year. At that time, they don't really have AI, or they have AI, but they don't really do practical AI things adding into the autonomous driving field. I think in 2013, they hired Geoffrey Hinton to be the AI leader in that sector. But I think for pony.ai, when we start, we think AI is still strong elements, because not only computer vision, but how you make decisions in complex situations, how you make a decision under a kind of rule-based scenarios, because for transportation it's highly regulated. You have a lot of rules. How you make decisions within those rules, it's very challenging. So when we started, we actually add that element into our decision-making process. So when we actually we're actually driving into a crossroads, we do this judgment better than Waymo. I think for California, a lot of people complain as Waymo when they try to turn to the what we call unprotected left turn. They usually just stack stock there. So, but when we do our autonomous driving, we will handle that situation much better than Waymo does.
Mm. So you talked about pony.ai catching up to some of those tech giants.
Yeah.
Do you see the autonomous driving sector as a winner-take-all environment? Is this a world where multiple companies can coexist, or is it a network effect where just Google or just Baidu or just pony.ai can be the winner?
Oh, that's a very interesting question, because we've been thinking of this the past. Actually, there are two ways to get ahead. There's one way you do the whole system and you sell to the OEMs, and you are hoping that one day L4 is mature enough so all the vehicles can be pre-installed the system. And the other way is what Waymo and I think Uber does. So because now the OEM system it's old traditional manufacturing system, they can't really allow you to actually pre-install this kind of thing before you pass any auto grade testing. So what they do is they will kind of partnership with OEMs to actually launch a big fleet, and they do a lot of testing, they do a lot of simulation, and make sure the technology is mature enough to handle maybe the city level autonomous driving hailing services. So we are actually trying these two routes at the same time, basically because the base is a system, it's a technology. So you can try to partner with OEM on the one side, and on the other side, you do fleet operation at the same time. So so the experience that we got when we operate in Nansha is that because Nansha is just it's such a great, it's a really ideal place for to launch this autonomous driving services, as Nansha has pretty nice weather not as good as comparing to California, but it's pretty good for the compared to other cities in China. Secondly, and it's not really that crowded, but they still got enough people, on the streets, so you meet a lot, you know a lot of scenarios. And thirdly, I think Nansha, they have pretty nice cities and pretty nice streets, and everything's very clear on the roads. So you don't have to do actual work to, like some of the rural areas in China, you have to do actual work to make sure the road is clear. So Nansha, the infrastructure of Nansha, it's very ideal.